Hello out there to our pilot podcast. I'm Heath.
I'm Jamie.
And this is taking everything into account. All right. Many people say we've passed the date already. Some say we've passed it by a lot. Others would disagree. The question is, what is the cutoff date when you can wish somebody Happy New Year?
I say we definitely passed the date. If it is after January 1st, I never wish a person a Happy New Year.
Okay, so if somebody wishes you a Happy New Year, you're not going to look at them. You're not going to think they're crazy if it's the second, third, so on. It's just you saying that that's your own thing.
That's right. And even in the month of January, somebody sees me for the first time that year, and they say Happy New Year, I guess that's okay. It's not too odd.
So for me, it's probably more like a week. I might go 10 days into the new year, but anything beyond that, I don't. Now, with that being said, because of this right here, I'm about to start wishing people Happy New Year just to see what kind of reaction I get and see if they look at me crazy, basically.
Now that you say that, I might try that myself.
But it's funny to me that you yourself, before this, had only wished people a Happy New Year on the day of. Like, I see it as a seasonal greetings thing. You know, we're like wishing somebody Merry Christmas. Like, you know, at least a week before Christmas, I'm wishing people Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever. Are you the same way about Christmas?
Yep, I'm the same way about Christmas, any holiday. I think of it as only that day. And don't get me wrong, I understand the Christmas season. Me personally, I only think of it as that one day. So I only say Merry Christmas on Christmas. I only say Happy New Year on New Year's Day.
Right. I mean, obviously, as a personal thing, I see where you're coming from. But for me, and like you even said it, it's a seasonal thing. Like you said, like the Christmas season. And there's only a few of them, obviously, as far as I don't even know if there's any others, to be honest, besides New Year's and Christmas seasons, as far as a season's greetings thing. Because you think about, you know, you're not going to wish anybody Happy Halloween throughout the month of October. You're not going to wish them Happy 4th of July all through the month of July, or even in the 3 days before the 4th of July. You're not going to be like, Happy 4th. You're not going to get them early on that. That's only going to be the day of. And so it's kind of it's weird how that plays out, but I guess that's saying that, in a sense, how important that season is to people.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously Christmas is a big one, and New Year's is a big one.
People putting up Christmas ornaments the day after Thanksgiving a lot of times because it's just an important, happy season to a lot of people.
Oh, you just touched on something there. It's getting earlier and earlier every year that people put up stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard that even my own girlfriend says that after Halloween, you can put up Christmas decorations.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
like, no. Oh, yeah. Because she says since there's really no decorations for Thanksgiving, which I can kind of disagree with, is that because people put up turkeys and different things, and you get the whole, it's like the fall season. The fall goes obviously with Halloween also. But to me, we can't start celebrating a big holiday before the other one passes. Like, we can't celebrate Christmas until Thanksgiving passes. I don't understand that.
I agree with you.
So I'm with you in the fact that in your statement of after Thanksgiving, that's when the tree goes up. That's when decorations go up. Now it's Christmas season.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm one for to say the whole superstition, if you want to buy into that kind of thing and just use it like almost like a tradition. Then I also think your decorations, your Christmas tree and everything should be down before New Year's.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I say superstition is that you probably heard of it, is that it's supposedly bad luck to have your decorations up after New Year's.
In my house, our Christmas tree is still up.
Oh, you definitely got some bad luck going on.
And the reason is because I just leave it up to my wife and daughter to do the Christmas tree, because the same way I only say Merry Christmas on Christmas Day, Happy New Year on New Year's Day. If it was up to me, I probably wouldn't put that tree up till maybe the week of Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And the day after it's coming down. If it wasn't for my daughter, I probably wouldn't put the tree up at all because I'm just going to take it back down.
Well, you could use that for anything. I'm not going to make my bed because I'm going to mess it up again. I'm not going to take a shower because I'm going to get dirty again.
Oh, yeah.
So I know where you're coming from. Guys stereotypically are more practical. We're going to keep it simple. But let's be honest. Women, generally speaking, they're going to decorate more. But I want to give it to them is that, they're the ones, in a sense, that make the Christmas season, as far as it's a different atmosphere when you have decorations and all that. And let me say, kids make it too. But at the same time, we need to play our part as men as far as, and I'm not saying you don't, I'm just saying as far as getting into the whole spirit of things. And you have to admit that if the decorations are up and you see presents under the tree, well before Christmas, you're more likely to get into the spirit.
That's true.
So, but I guess to ask you, if I had to pin you down and get a definitive date, when are you saying the last time you could wish somebody Happy New Year? Not you, not what you choose to do, but what you think is the acceptable time for society, if you will, to wish somebody Happy New Year.
Yep. January 31st.
January 31st. Okay, that's pretty generous. And obviously, I know you take into account, no pun intended, taking everything into account here. You're assuming that you haven't seen the people, and you're going to the extent. So obviously, even if you haven't seen that person all year long, and it's a person you like to see, run into, and you guys talk a good bit or something, and you see them for the first time, and you see them in, let's say, February or even March, you've missed your window. Does not matter if you've seen them or not, or whether you've wished them Happy New Year already. It's too late. You passed that window.
Oh, yeah. They telling me after January 31st, I'm probably wondering if they're okay. Because I'm wondering, do they know what month it is? I just think that's too late.
Which, obviously, I'm sure as this podcast goes along, I'm going to have many Seinfeld references, but that reminds me of an episode of Seinfeld. I can't remember which one, but Jerry and Elaine are talking. He was like, "Yeah, I got Happy New Year in March. What is that?" The nerve of people. Like he was upset about the whole thing. But surprisingly, I'm probably going to go tighter than you. I'm going to be less generous and say I'm going to go halfway through January and be like, that's it. It's a 2-week window. It's either the 14th or the 15th. Actually, maybe I'm going to change it. I'm going to have the sliding scale. I'm saying MLK Day, too late.
Okay.
Just to throw something out there different. But yeah, I'm saying 2 weeks though. And generally, MLK falls on like 15th or, a few days later than that. I think it's falling later this year. But yeah, I'm definitely sticking with 2 weeks at this point. I'm saying that as an experiment, I may go later this year just to see what type of responses I get from people.
Well,
I would say more times than not, I'm probably just going to get reciprocation, and they're just going to wish me a Happy New Year back. But somebody's going to call me out.
Happy New Year today. I was in Walmart, and I saw somebody that I knew, but it's the first time I saw them this year, and they did wish me Happy New Year at the end of the conversation.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I just said, you too.
Okay. You got away from it a little bit, but you basically, the sentiments are there, though. You didn't actually say the words, but you said same to you. So,
right.
Which you may say that anyway, even if it's on the first day of the year, that could just be a response. Happy New Year. Oh, same to you. So it's not like you were necessarily trying to avoid saying it. That might just be a natural reaction when somebody gives you well wishes, whenever the time is. But yeah, obviously you weren't looking at him crazy, like, can you believe the nerve of that dude as you walk off?
That's right. That's right. Now, if it had been the middle of February, I would have looked at him crazy.
Do you think you would have called him out?
I know him, but I don't know him really well, so probably not.
I could see if it was somebody I didn't know that well, but, we had good rapport, I still might say something jokingly, because it's always how you say it.
Yeah.
You're like, You know the date, right? But same to you anyway. But actually, that reminds me, speaking of what we were talking about earlier, is Merry Christmas and all this. And this is a whole other topic. I want to talk about it briefly, is well wishes. And when I say well wishes, during the Christmas season, during the holiday season, is that I've heard this, quote unquote, this war on Christmas, which I have never felt really existed, not just feeling internally. I just don't think it's ever existed. In years, decades ago, when it was not even a topic, everything's gotten blown out of proportion now, is that anybody said happy holidays, my first thought, I thought that they were just saying, like, to incorporate the holiday season. For example, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. I mean, you're basically getting 3 major holidays within 2 months. And so when somebody would say happy holidays, I wouldn't think, oh, well, maybe they're Jewish. Maybe that's why. Right. I never even thought that.
No, so there are quite a few holidays right there together. Right,
because obviously you get Kwanzaa's now there, Hanukkah's there, and then obviously the 3 we've already mentioned. And so, there's 5 holidays right there that people celebrate in America. And there's probably more that I'm not even aware of necessarily. That being said, though, so this fake war on Christmas, I have never, ever heard anybody give me backlash for saying Merry Christmas. And I'm sure every person I've ever wished Merry Christmas to is not Christian or celebrates Christmas.
Right.
So if somebody wished me Happy Hanukkah, I'm not going to get mad and say, what kind of shit is that, man? Why are you giving me well wishes? Do I look Jewish? I mean, I'm going to say, hey, thanks, man. Happy Hanukkah to you, too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be mad.
The thing that I would say I wouldn't do, I'm not going to say it makes me mad when people do it. I wouldn't put Merry Xmas on something.
Okay, and why is that? Because you're taking away the word Christ? Is that it?
Yes, and I'm saying I wouldn't do it. At the same time, it doesn't make me mad if somebody does it. Some of them might not even mean anything by it when they do it.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think there's anybody out there trying to sabotage Christ in that way. Obviously, it's an abbreviation, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it started on, like, Christmas decoration boxes, that you put up in the attic or whatever, and, these are Christmas decorations. It's like, wow, this is a long word. I'm getting tired of writing this, so, but regardless of what the case may be, I've never seen it as anybody trying to slight Jesus or the holiday or whatever is that,
right.
And I personally don't think that God's getting offended at it because he would know where your heart's at anyway. So therefore, it's not about what you're writing down. It's about how you feel about God and Jesus and what have you. And that's the issue at hand. So anybody to get upset over that, I think they're missing the point.
That's why I don't get mad or upset at anybody for doing it. And like I said, I wouldn't do it. And if somebody asked me why I wouldn't do it, I have no problem telling them I don't want to remove Christ from Christmas, because to me, that's what Christmas is about anyway. At the same time, it doesn't upset me that anyone else does it.
Right, and I appreciate that. I respect that as far as you're not getting upset. It's just it's not your thing to do. And it's like a preference. I prefer not to do this, but I'm not going to get upset that they actually do that. So
exactly.
It's just one of those things. That being said, let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. I'm sure most people have already thought about it from the opening intro. Wow, these guys have some thick Southern accent. So, and let's be honest, you more than me.
Oh, yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But, let's just call it like it is. Obviously, there's stereotypes out there of people with Southern accents that, basically they're uneducated or they're slow or they're, whatever. Well, hopefully we get to dispel some of those stereotypes and prove people wrong. But the most popular person of recent, and it came out of nowhere and it kept happening for me, is that I've been told that I sound like is Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yeah.
And you can hear that too? Like I said, I'll take it, because when the first time I was told that I had a Southern accent around Atlanta, is that I was like, what? No, because when they said it to me, I was thinking, you're telling me that I sound like the people that are from Jessup, like the real Jesupians? I'm like, nah, I don't sound like that. And so, and I don't. But at the same time, at that time, I wasn't getting it. And I was like, okay, if somebody's going to tell me I sound like Matthew McConaughey, I was like, oh, that Southern accent. I got you. Yes, I do sound like that. I can see that, very similar. Not saying that we sound identical or anything like that, but because of that, I'll be honest, I have adopted the catchphrase, all right, all right, all right. Might as well play it up. If I'm cool with it, might as well play it up, right?
That's right. I have people from Jessup. When they meet me, they'll say, are you from Louisiana? Or I guess my accent is even thicker than many people from Jessup.
You know it's thick. It's somebody from Jessup.
Oh, yeah.
You somewhere with a thicker accent than theirs.
Oh, yeah. When you're in another place, like I was in the military, and I was stationed out in Washington State for about 3 years, and you actually start to sound and talk like the people that you're around all the time.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's what, accents are based off of, in large part, it's just, regional.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
After I've been there maybe a year, when I would call home, my parents told me a few times that they didn't know who it was when they first answered.
Jamie, I don't know how that's possible, because I don't know if you could get rid of your accent if you wanted to, but I do like that, though.
Even a couple of my friends, when I came back home from the military, told me I talked way different. I sounded way different. But I guess over time, I slipped back into that thick Southern accent. Oh, yeah.
It's funny, though, is that I've been around Jessup. Obviously, I go a few times a year, but I've been around Jessup, and within the last decade or so, I've run into people that I haven't seen in a while and things like that. I ran into a cousin, and not poking fun at all. I'm just I'm going to do an impersonation of her, but she asked me where I was living at the time, and she was like, "So where you living now?" And I was like, at the time I was living in Marietta, and I was like, I'm living in Marietta. And she goes, "I thought I heard an accent." An accent. I done moved up north. But it is funny of how I've played. I get it from both sides. So from people around Atlanta, I'll be told I have a Southern accent, and then I have another cousin tell me, "Oh yeah, you from Jessup. Oh yeah, you sound like you from up north."
Oh yeah.
So I take that as a compliment, though. That I got the best of both worlds.
That's right. When I was out in Washington State, I also got asked by quite a few people if I was racist or if I had been involved with the KKK. I guess a lot of people associate Southern accents with that. Yeah, but what's crazy, though, is that they're seeing it as a direct link, like it's synonymous. Don't get me wrong, we know the stories and, Mississippi burning and what have you, is that, obviously the Deep South is where, slavery, that's the start, and then so on, and, it stayed around, obviously. Not like it's not apparent around the rest of the United States, but, it being... Oh, yeah, definitely, racism exists. I'm still kind of surprised that that's, like, the direct link, like, even to go not only to assume that you're racist, possibly, because you're a white male from the South, but to say, are you in the KKK also? Like, wow, right. That's a definite jump. Right, but, obviously there's the good and the bad, too, though, is that, you get, I've talked to girls in the past that I met off dating sites, and they would be from somewhere else, and they would say, "Oh, I love how you talk, blah, blah, blah," and so it's like, obviously there's perks to it sometimes, because then now you're different than they are, than what they're used to. Oh, yeah, that was a big deal for me at one time out in Washington State, because in my group of friends, they realized that women out there liked the fact that I talked different, I had a Southern accent, and I definitely wasn't a ladies' man, but my friends realized that women were kind of drawn to that. Some women, so they would pick out a girl in the club and say, "Hey, Jamie, go speak to her." And 9 times out of 10, it would start a long conversation.
Oh yeah, and the biggest thing was they could hear you talk, because to them you were exotic. Like, man, he's not from around here. Like, it's obvious, and wow, a lot of people, and I've never been the one, but I've never really got into accents. Whether it's British, like I can remember, hearing people talk, like particularly in college, because obviously it's like a melting pot. And, whether it's somebody from Jamaica or what have you, and they're like, oh yeah, she's got that accent too. And I'm like, the hell does that matter? Does that make her finer? If so,
That's right.
How? But, I get it to a degree. Everybody's different. They like what they like. But as it was, at the time, they were seeing you as exotic. And, like, I told a similar story of, like, oh, I like to hear you talk. And it's like, well, hey, as long as it plays in my favor, I'm not going to argue about it. I'm not going to break this down and say, hey, I don't know why you find this attractive. I'm just going to roll with it. So, but, obviously when you come back to Jessup or Georgia or wherever, just the South, obviously you're no longer exotic. You were like a mango out in Seattle when you were in the military, but then you get back here and you're just a regular old apple.
That's right. That's right.
Don't stand out any longer.
Yeah, it boosted my confidence, and
right. I bet.
I come back home and can't even get a phone number. That's what reminds me that I was not a ladies' man. It's all circumstantial. Or they said, I guess it's like a business stuff. They said the 3 most important things for a business is location, location, location. No, but at the same time, you mentioned, growing up around black people, and obviously you told me this story many a times. You grew up in the projects for a good bit of your childhood years or teenage years and things like that. Oh, yeah.
So don't judge a book by its cover or even how it sounds. So, But, I mean, with that being said, though, I might have to throw it in. Like I told you, I did my Matthew McConaughey with the all right, all right, all right. I can also get down like Kevin Hart, too. All right, all right, all right. So, it depends on my location again. But I definitely wanted to address the whole Southern accent, because it's an obvious thing, and I'm sure people are wondering about it. But again, hopefully they don't judge us negatively on, or prejudge us negatively. And if they did, hopefully we get to throw them for a loop, if nothing else. Hopefully break those stereotypes.
Oh, yeah.
So again, my name's Heath.
My name's Jamie.
And this is Taking Everything Into Account. Until next time, people, see you later.